These are creepy TikToks that will make you rethink your whole reality.
About the night that changed her life forever. In a rare occurrence, this girl's whole family was going out for the night. Her mother was going out, her sister wasn't coming home, she had the entire house to herself. So she just decided to curl up in her bedroom, have a cozy night in, and watch a Netflix series. But not even 30 minutes in, she suddenly heard noises coming from downstairs in her kitchen. The faint sound of an unknown man laughing to himself from downstairs.
This photo shows John Edward Robinson holding a baby girl named Tiffany. Just one day before this photo was taken, he murdered the baby's mother and gave Tiffany to his brother, saying that she was adopted. His brother, along with Tiffany, didn't find out the truth for 15 years.
Every single person you've ever known and ever will know was you.
I'm back, it's your boy Fittie to the E, and today we're taking a look at this compilation together. So grab your water, your popcorn, whatever you want. If you like the chain, check the link down in the description. Christmas was like 2 days ago, so I hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas. If you're in the United States, that is, because if you're in a different country, that means it's probably on a different day. But if you're in the US, hopefully you had a good Christmas. And also if you're in other countries.
Looking photos that have a disturbing backstory. Part 27. This photo shows an elderly couple doing the hokey pokey with a man named Dennis Rader, also known as the BTK Killer. He installed alarms for a living, and ironically, many clients booked his services to prevent him from entering their homes. This photo shows Luchadora Juana Barraza. She was sold to a man for 3 beers by her mother until her stepdad found her at age 17. Over the years that followed, she would strangle and rob over 45 old women that reminded her of her abusive mom. The man in the background is Christopher Wilde, aka the Beauty Queen Killer. This picture was taken on June 15th, 1984, and Chris is scouting future victims at a beauty pageant. This photo shows John Edward Robinson holding a baby girl named Tiffany. Just one day before this photo was taken, he murdered the baby's mother and gave Tiffany to his brother, saying that she was adopted. His brother, along with Tiffany, didn't find out the truth for 15 years.
Yeah, we actually saw that last person in our last video. I was asking the same question, like, how did they find out 15 years later that he unalived the mom and then gave the kid to his brother? Like, I wonder who found that out.
True scary stories in 60 seconds or less. This story comes from a Reddit user about the night that changed her life forever. In a rare occurrence, this girl's whole family was going out for the night. Her mother was going out, her sister wasn't coming home, she had the entire house to herself. So she just decided to curl up in her bedroom, have a cozy night in, and watch a Netflix series. But not even 30 minutes in, she suddenly heard noises coming from downstairs in her kitchen. The faint sound of an unknown man laughing to himself from downstairs. She was paralyzed with fear because she remembered she left her cell phone on the downstairs counter, but she also knew if she emailed 911, eventually somebody would come. She waited for 7 agonizing minutes until police eventually come, and there is an eruption of screams and wrestling from the kitchen. When they found her and brought her downstairs, she was told to close her eyes, as she later learned in horror that the man who had been in her kitchen had her mother spread out on the floor in pieces.
I thought he said her mom was out, but that must be crazy. That means her mom probably came back as the other dude was in the house. Wow, that's really traumatizing for her.
This is the scary story about the peephole. A 15-year-old girl named Donna lived with her father in a very small house. Ever since her mother died, Donna had depended on her dad for everything. One morning, Donna's father was leaving for a business trip. He then told her that he won't be back until later that night, and with that, he kissed Donna on the forehead and left. Later that day, when Donna came home from school, she did some homework and watched TV. The clock then struck midnight, and she noticed her father still wasn't back, so she decided to go to bed. That night, Donna had a dream. She found herself standing on the edge of a busy highway. She then looked across the highway and saw a familiar figure standing there. It was her father, and his hands were cupped around his mouth trying to yell something. But Donna couldn't make out what he was saying. She noticed her father's eyes were very sad, and he seemed to be desperately trying to communicate with her. She could barely make out the words he was saying, but it sounded like "don't open the door." Suddenly, Donna woke up to a tapping noise. Then somebody rang the doorbell. Donna then scrambled out of bed, got dressed, and ran down to the front door. Looking through the peephole, she saw her father's face outside. He was staring right at her, and the doorbell was still ringing. "Okay, hold on, I'm coming," she shouted. She pulled back the deadbolt and was about to unlatch the door when she stopped. She then looked through the peephole again, and she noticed there was something off about her father's expression. His eyes were wide open, and he looked terrified. She then slid the deadbolt back into place. "Dad, did you forget your keys?" Donna yelled. The doorbell just kept ringing. Dad, answer me. Still, the doorbell continued to ring. Dad, please, I need you to answer me. Is there someone else out there with you? Still, the doorknob continued to ring. She then yelled at the top of her lungs, I'm not opening the door until you answer me. The doorbell kept ringing and ringing, but for some reason, her father refused to answer her desperate cries. For the rest of the night, Donna sat in the corner next to the door, crying and helplessly listening to the doorbell ringing over and over again. She then eventually fell asleep. In the morning when she woke up, she noticed it was very quiet. She then got up and went over to the peephole and looked inside. Her father was still there, just staring at her. She then cautiously opened the door and was confronted with a sight that filled her with unimaginable horror. Her father's severed head was hanging from a nail above the door, and there was a note attached to the doorbell. In weird sloppy handwriting, it read, Clever girl.
Yo, who was out for her father? You know how scary that is? Like, what did he do?
Creepy facts you never knew existed. 14. In the original story of Pinocchio, Pinocchio murdered Hermione Cricket by throwing a hammer at him.
Have you heard the urban legend of Carmen Winstead? Disclaimer, this video is for entertainment purposes only. I repeat, this video is for entertainment purposes only. If you get scared easily, you might want to click off this video. This story goes way back. Before there were creepypastas, there was something called chain mail, where you would be emailed these scary stories, and if you didn't send them to 15 other people, something bad would happen to you. And the most popular chainmail scary story was that of Carmen Winstead. There was a girl named Carmen who moved to a new school and didn't have many friends, but eventually she found a friend group of 5 girls. They all became best friends until Carmen realized that the girls were talking about her behind her back. Not only were they talking about her, but they were also spreading rumors about her, saying that she wipes snot on people and that she lives in the underground sewer system. Little did these girls know that their bullying would have the worst consequences ever. Part 2 is posted now. This is part 2 of Carmen Winstead. One day at school, Carmen had decided that the bullying had gone way too far, and she was going to tell a teacher. Only in the middle of the school day, before she could tell a teacher about the bullying, they had a fire drill and all had to line up outside. Carmen and the other girls were standing by a sewage opening. The girls decided that it would be funny if they ganged up on Carmen enough to where she backed up and fell into the sewer opening. And that's exactly what happened. Carmen had hit the floor of the sewer. Let's just say Carmen didn't make it, and she suffered serious injuries while her face hit the ladder on the way down. After this incident, all of the girls had to stay after school that day and tell police what happened. Only they denied the truth and insisted that Carmen had simply fallen. Carmen's passing was ruled as an accident and the case was closed. Only Carmen wanted revenge. Part 3 is posted. This is part 3, the ending to Carmen Winstead. The months had passed, and to the students at Carmen's high school, she had become only but a faint memory at this point. Until every single student at Carmen's high school began receiving very strange MySpace messages. The MySpace messages claimed that Carmen's passing was not an accident and that somebody pushed her. The sender of these messages also claimed that whoever it was that pushed Carmen had an allotted amount of time to turn themselves in, or else they would suffer the consequences. Whatever the consequences may be. Well, time went on, and the girls who forced Carmen down the sewer did not come forward, and one by one, they were all found deceased in a sewer. And Carmen had gotten her revenge. They used to tell us when I was in school that if we didn't email this to 15 other people that we would end up in a sewer, but I never did.
Yeah, man, that's why I be telling people like, yo, you don't know what people are going through. Can't be judging or making fun of people out here, bro. You're gonna end up in the sewage with Carmen if you do that.
Terrifying moments caught on planes. All the passengers on this flight were terrified because of this.
No.
This flight assistant was inspecting a plane at night when he notices something horrifying.
No, mommy.
This passenger was recording the sky from the plane when suddenly...
Okay, what is that? Holy crap.
Tell me one that looked like a whale in the sky. Like, you know how whales come up for air every once in a while and go back down in the ocean. That looked exactly like a whale, but I was like, yo, what do y'all think that possibly could be? Put it down in the comments.
911, what is the address to your emergency?
4th Street Laundromat.
What's the problem?
I've been assaulted.
But you're at the laundromat?
No, I'm in the bedroom with them.
You don't know what color the house is?
No. Please hurry.
A weapon?
I've got a taser.
Are you injured?
A little.
Any way you can get out of the building?
I don't know without waking him, and I'm scared.
Is there a bathroom in the house?
Well, his bedroom is closed, and he made it so it would make noise.
And if you told me you had to go to the bathroom, he would do something to you?
Yeah, because he had me tied up.
So are you tied up now?
Well, yeah, but I kind of freed myself. Oh, shit, I woke him up.
I feel like a 911 operator should low-key have like one of the toughest jobs. Like imagine just on the phone, someone's like, yeah, you know, I just got my leg blown off. I don't know what the f to do. And you're just like, yeah, we're just gonna send a trooper over. Like, you know, they should probably hear some of the most traumatizing and crazy things, and they just gotta remain calm.
These are things that shouldn't be scary but are. Part 5. Okay, so we all love the ocean, and we are used to everything about it, from the colors all the way to the smell. But what I'm about to show you might be the scariest ocean in the world. They call this the blood ocean because the water and sand literally look like blood.
Ew.
Disturbing truth about the movie Frozen. Okay, so when Walt Disney passed away, it was rumored that his body was cryogenically frozen and was hidden underneath the Pirates of the Caribbean ride at Disneyland. Disney has always been obsessed with cryogenics and was very confident that in the future, when the technology advances, his consciousness could be reawakened and he could experience the future. It's alleged that somebody who was working at the park leaked a photo of Walt Disney's body frozen. And to make it all go away, Disney made the movie Frozen to completely change Google's search algorithm so that users who were searching the words Disney and Frozen would come across the movie and all the songs in it instead of Walt Disney's frozen body.
So you telling me right now, if we look up Walt Disney's frozen body, his body won't pop up? You know what, we should do that. We should look up Walt Disney's frozen body. Walt Disney frozen body. What is this? Man, I don't know what they was talking about. Y'all believe Walt Disney's body is actually frozen? I mean, if they did do that, I wonder how he's gonna get unfrozen and just come back to life.
Scary moments caught inside taxis. In this video, taken from a CCTV camera, people can be seen hailing taxi cabs. One man hails a cab, but when the cab pulls up and the man starts to walk towards the car, a shadow appears behind him. The shadow follows the man as he gets in the cab and disappears into the cab with him.
What time of... Yo, a demon. Yo, this man got demons.
These are 8 horrifying facts that will probably keep you up at night. One of your photos that you have today will be used in your funeral. There are more slaves today than any other time in history. According to the founder of the Walk Free Foundation, there are 46 million slaves in the world today. Your eyes can still move after your death for 15 to 30 seconds. Watching TV for more than 2 hours a day can shorten your life expectancy by 1.4 years. In 1977, we received a radio signal from space that lasted 42 seconds. To this day, no one knows where that signal came from. A lit candle causes more than 15,000 house fires every year. Spider rain could happen at any moment above you. Bill Skarsgård, who played Pennywise in the 2017 version of It, was born in 1990, the year the original It was released. Yeah.
Spider rain, wow. Out of everything he said, the spider rain was the one that stuck out. I'm like, yo, spider rain? You gotta be walking in the woods for that. Ain't no way you could just be walking out in a public city and then boom, just raining spiders. And if watching TV could shorten your lifespan, does that also count for our phones? Because like I know a lot of people with like an average phone time of like 12 hours.
Man stabbing.
Please don't cut off my head. sort of just happened. I've been trying to block out the screams all day.
The girl in this video is 12-year-old Morgan Geyser, and in May 2014, her and Anissa Weir lured their friend into a forest to play a game of hide and seek. Anissa and Morgan pinned their friend Peyton Lutner to the ground and stabbed her 19 times, leaving her for death, all in the name of Slenderman. Peyton dragged herself to a nearby road until she was spotted by a man on a bike.
She says to you what? Could you help me, please? I've been stabbed multiple times.
And was rushed to the hospital immediately. Luckily, she survived the brutal stabbing and was released from the hospital just a week later. While Anissa was empathetic and sorry for what the girls had done, Morgan showed no remorse. The two 12-year-olds were found not guilty due to mental disease and were committed to mental institutions for 25 and 40 years respectively. And that's the story of...
In the name of Slenderman? Slenderman isn't even real for real. That's how you know the online world can brainwash some people, because that's just absurd, man.
If you see black-eyed children, don't let them in. According to legend, black-eyed children are believed to come to your house, to your vehicle window if you're alone at the parking lot, and to places where there aren't many people. When they appear, they often say that they need help with something and that you must let them in. They must enter, whether it is in your car or at your house. Anyone who encountered them has almost immediately felt an overwhelming sense of dread. If you don't let them in, they become increasingly insistent that they need to be allowed in. The kids have pale skin and black eyes. Apart from their blacked out eyes, these children seem normal. Nobody knows why or how these kids appear. Some suggest that these children have existed since the 1980s, although most sources state that the legend originated around 1996. But remember...
Yo, first of all, if I'm seeing kids with black eyes coming to my door, why would I let them in? I'm like, bro, no kid I've ever seen in my life got straight black eyes. No white, no nothing. So I'm gonna just be like, listen, bro, sorry, but like, you have to find your mom.
This carnival act became a killer. This is the tragedy of Lobster Boy. So Grady Stiles was born with a deformity that made his hands and feet look like lobster claws. It's called ectrodactyly, and you can see he doesn't have middle fingers. This was actually really common in his family. So common, they actually opened up their own circus. But outside of the circus act, Grady was incredibly violent towards his family. So much so that there's actually a story of during a fight with his wife, he was able to somehow pull out her IUD.
What?
I read that. So in 1978, his daughter Donna starts dating this guy Jack, and that's when things turned deadly. The night before they were to be married, Jack went to see Grady in hopes of getting his approval of their marriage. But Grady met Jack with a shotgun and took his life. The prisons at the time actually weren't able to accommodate disabled people, so he just got 15 years of probation. And his reign of terror actually continued until his wife put a hit out on him and hired their 17-year-old neighbor to do it. And Grady was killed after serving no time for any of his crimes, and his wife got 12 years in jail and the neighbor got 27.
Nah, when she said he pulled out her IUD, I was like, yo, what is bro doing? Yo.
Have you ever had the unshakable feeling that something terrible was about to happen? Maybe it has been in a dream, or maybe you have been blinded by a sudden vision of imminent terror. Well, you are not the only one. In 1981, a clairvoyant contacted British Rail to warn depot employees that she'd been having a recurring vision of a fatal train crash. In her vision, one of their Blue Engine's transporting oil tankers crashed with horrible consequences. She also saw that the train number was 47216. Managers took the warning seriously since they knew the clairvoyant had helped police on numerous cases. They requested that the number of the particular train should be changed to 47299. However, in December 1983, the 47299 train was transporting an oil train when it collided with a DMU at Robbie Junction. The collision was afterwards described as an amazing coincidence. Fate or coincidence, who knows, but it makes you think twice.
These are some of the unfortunate and unexplained occurrences at the infamous Viper Room. It's one of the oldest remaining buildings on LA's famous Sunset Strip. Built in 1921, several nightclubs have taken up residency in the dark windowless building. But it wasn't until 1993 when Johnny Depp outbid Arnold Schwarzenegger with a whopping $350,000 and turned the space into the Viper Room. He, along with a few other business partners, ran the club. The Viper Room was off to a tragic start. In 1993, its opening year, River passed at the Viper Room on Halloween night. And in the late 90s, there were disputes between many of the co-owners and shareholders of the club. And in the midst of the business drama, one of the partners, Anthony Fox, mysteriously disappeared in 2001. They found his car abandoned weeks later, but to this day, no one knows his whereabouts. Beyond that, according to staff, there's been a number of unexplained things that have happened at the club over the years. The bar itself is rumored to be haunted. Tommy Black, who worked at the Viper Room for 17 years, said that when patrons are standing at the bar, they will often faint or their knees begin to buckle. Tommy said it was always in the very same spot at the bar, and he himself saw it happen nearly 20 times. Another previous manager named Macy Jane has a creepy account as well. She said she repeatedly received phone calls from an unidentified caller while in the club's office. She would pick up the phone, and the male caller would say, "Hi, it's me." And then there was static, and then the call would drop. And Macy said that she believed it was the spirit of Anthony Fox. The whole nightclub world is notorious for seediness, but some of the things that have gone down at the Viper Room are pretty eerie. What are your thoughts?
Every single person you've ever known and ever will know was you. Well, at least according to the egg theory. The egg was a story posted online in 2009. The story features two characters, a 48-year-old man and God. The man has passed away due to a car accident and has come face to face with God. God tells this man that he's about to be reincarnated, but not in the future, but rather in the 5th century as a Chinese girl. Every single time he passes away in one of his lives, he's going to be reincarnated in another time period. And so at some point he would have reincarnated as everybody that has ever lived. In this story, God also reveals that there are deities aside from God that exist. And the universe is essentially an egg for each of these deities. You will keep reincarnating until you are ready to emerge and become a god.
The egg theory. Yeah, I've heard a lot about the egg theory. I don't know. Do you guys believe in the egg theory? Put your thoughts down below.
Whatever the Egyptians were doing, I think they were the most advanced civilization that ever existed. I don't think we could do what they did. The precision in which they built it, I really don't think we can do that. Just the symmetry of the faces of the statues is unparalleled, and they're immense. These are monstrously huge, perfectly symmetrical faces.
Right.
Their temples are insanely intricate.
They were incredibly advanced.
Incredibly advanced.
With math, with science, with technology.
Certainly with geometry. 20-ton gigantic stone blocks that were taken from a mountain 500 miles away. And no one has any idea how the fuck they got them.
Nobody has any clue.
No guesses.
Right.
There's some guesses about, oh, maybe the river system was different back then. Whatever. How are you getting that 50-ton chunk of granite out of a fucking mountain and moving it down, even with modern equipment? How are you getting it over the mountain?
Nah, he not lying. 50 tons, 500 miles away. Do you know how far 500 miles away is? That's almost like the top of New York all the way down to South Carolina. That's so far. So yeah, I think I would agree with that. If the Egyptians really did all that by themselves, that means they were actually the most advanced civilization. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. If you guys liked the video, remember to like the video. Check the chains down in the description. And thank all of you guys for watching. Peace out.